Hi again. Welcome to edition 2 of Relationship Hazards and Tools During Quarantine. Today's a very special day in my relationship. It's my wife's birthday, but she is getting some alone time, watching a movie, and the boys are watching some TV. So I had some inspiration and thought I'd share with you something I was thinking about today, which is about feeling underappreciated. When people ask me, I get this question a lot, like, what's the one piece of advice you would give to couples from your work as a couples coach? And the thing that I always say is, I don't know if I, honestly, I don't know if I'd have to think if I still 100% agree with this because it's a little dated. But the thing that I definitely is up there is saying everything you think is obvious. And what I mean by that is that we get into these ruts where we just feel like obviously the other person knows we think they're attractive, we appreciate them, we think that they're doing a good job, all the positive things that we might think to ourselves or just notice. But the reality is that neither one of us could hear those things enough. So first of all, it's just like a very simple thing is just making sure you say all the things that go into your head or the things that you say to other people, which is the other thing that happens. We praise our partner to other people and then don't say it to their face. So if something pops into their head about attractiveness, about something you appreciate about what they're saying or doing or something they're working on, just say that, right? It'll help a lot, the feeling of connection between the two of you. As it pertains to specifically to the quarantine time, right now, obviously, like a lot of us are under a lot of stress. Most of us, or if not all of us, are probably under a lot of stress. And so we're shouldering a burden. We might be shouldering the burden of trying to make ends meet right now or support the family. It might be a mental and emotional burden. It might be the burden of spending a lot more time with the kids and having them need a lot more from us. But in any case, like there's going to be a lot of stuff weighing on us right now. And there's a dynamic that happens in relationships anyway, which is really interesting, which is that both people always feel like they are giving, not always, you should never say always about things like this, but what I find when people come to my office is both people have a sense of, I'm bending in some way, giving a lot more to my partner, and my efforts aren't being recognized, and I'm not getting as much appreciation in return or as much in return as I want to. And what I find is that somehow both people feel this way, which is really interesting. Because you would think like objectively that's not possible, but both people end up feeling that way. Now, in this time where it's a time of stress, people are going to feel that way even more, right? Because you're going to be doing all these unseen things, or maybe even seen things that are just way more intense than, or maybe, but will tend to be more intense or more scary emotionally at the very least than our normal day to day. And so there's a big hazard of feeling unappreciated or underappreciated by our partner, right? And then maybe you're not going to have as much time for intimacy or connection, and you're not going to feel as wanted, or you're not going to feel like you're doing a good enough job because maybe like finances are tough or whatever, right? There might be some struggle where you feel like you're just like giving a lot to this, whether it's mentally thinking about like how are we going to get through this, emotionally like shouldering a lot of fear or concern, or like literally doing a lot to get through this, and it will be very easy to not feel appreciated by your partner, right? So basically during this time, and I'll talk about, like, I don't know, in a future video, definitely at some point down the road, I'll release some content about this phenomenon of both people thinking that they're the one who's bending more than the other person, because I just think it's really fascinating relationship phenomenon. But for the time being, going back to this thing I said before, be really generous with your positive feedback, like super generous with your positive feedback during this time. If something pops into your head, even if it's the slightest thing, and again, like about attractiveness, about appreciation, about acknowledgement, celebrating them in some way, and especially if it's things like you've been working on or things that you know that they're doing for you, right? Like something that they know will make you happy. Like just be really effusive in your appreciation and acknowledgement of each other and really generous about what's going well, right? Obviously, we want to be sincere about the fact that there's a lot of difficult things happening. I don't want to pretend that's not the case. And this isn't an either or situation. It's a both and situation. So just at least take up that space of the other side of the positivity and give a lot of appreciation to each other for those things. and just give a lot of acknowledgement. And what's going to happen, and the reason I say in the title this leads to groundedness, is because if you're feeling uneasy about, like, does my partner think I'm doing a good job, do they think I'm attractive, do they think that I'm carrying enough weight during this difficult time, do they see me doing so much with the kids, whatever it may be, it creates a sort of unsettledness when you have those questions, a sort of like anxious uncertainty. And so it kind of puts you on edge toward each other. So the more you can just reinforce this, even if you think it's total overkill, the more it's going to create a sense of safety in your partner, and that they feel like you're actually seeing them and appreciating what they're doing. And it's going to help a lot calm each other down during this difficult time. So I hope this is really helpful. Again, kind of the thing here is noting that there's a very strong possibility during a time like this, I mean really during all the times, but during a time like this especially, of feeling underappreciated by each other and not, acknowledged enough, or not, celebrated enough for carrying the whatever weight that each of you is carrying during this time. And the tool is it's a very simple tool, but just say everything positive that comes into your head, right? I mean, obviously there's a lot to be said about what we need to say about the challenges, but for the time being, we'll focus on just, if something comes into your head, some appreciation, if you notice yourself saying something to someone else about how your partner's doing, say it to them. And it's going to create a lot more connection and groundedness for you two during this difficult time. All right, I'll see you next time.